Hey everyone, welcome to Monday live stream, my new time here at 6 o'clock Central Time. So today almost felt like a day of luxury compared with yesterday. Yesterday, Sam and I worked on cleaning the kitchen. Um, we can't do a whole lot of cleaning during the work week like together because he's obviously at work. And so we've been taking the weekends to really do like we started on it when he was home, when where he works was only open on 3 days a week. And so we started on a spring clean and we kind of did more and let me by we I mainly mean Sam. Really cleaned out the garage and really cleaned out our storage back room, and we kind of left the things inside the house for this fall when it was, you know, those weird temperatures. And I don't know if you have them where you are at. We just have really weird weather in the fall. It could start out like -3,000 below zero. And by the end of the day, it's like sweltering. So, like in the morning, you start out with the furnace or heating system on, and by noon, you're flipping it over to the air conditioner. Welcome in, Emily Rose. Welcome in. Glad you're here. Rockin' Robin, yes, long time no see. Glad that you are here. So, where you never really know what fall's going to bring around here, so we kind of left the inside of the house for this fall. So yesterday, Sam and I tackled the kitchen. And literally we spent all day cleaning, sorting, purging, um, and just kind of reclaiming our kitchen, as it were. So today, um, it was just so nice to be done with that. It seemed like it was just a day of like luxury compared to all of that yesterday. Um, this morning I got up and looked at the weather, and it said it was going to be a really cool day. It was going to be in the 60s. And so I'm like, I know what I'm making for dinner. I'm going to make vegetable beef soup. My vegetable beef soup is the stupidest, simplest recipe for vegetable beef soup that you've ever made. It's literally ground beef, and the amount is really up to you, whatever you want to use. Um, I've done just ground beef. I've done ground pork, like breakfast sausage that you've thawed out and browned up. I've done a mixture of both. Today happened to just be ground beef, and then it's whatever type of canned vegetables that you like. Drained, of course. So I did 2 cans of corn, 2 cans of peas, 2 cans of green beans, and 1 can of whole potatoes. Sam doesn't really care for canned potatoes. I don't think they taste too bad once they've been in the soup and kind of all the flavors have went through them. They lose the metal taste that sometimes being in a tin can gives them. So I put 1 can of those, and typically those are just for me. And so I start out and I brown up the meat, whatever type of meat that is. And as it's kind of about halfway through the cooking process, and I season with salt, pepper, garlic powder. I sometimes use garlic salt if I have some on hand. Today I didn't have. I'm out of garlic salt. If you remember, I talked about it on a live stream a little while ago. I cleaned out my spice cabinet, and garlic salt was something that was completely expired and it kind of gotten hard, and so I just checked it. Um, and so in the middle of the cooking process, I added all the seasonings and a little bit of boxed beef broth. And I just continued to let it cook and simmer and finish cooking up the meat. And while the meat was just kind of cooking and chilling out in the stock pot, I opened up all my cans of veggies, I drained them, and then I just started combining them all in the pot. So I put all the veggies in, I put in the rest of the box of beef broth, and I added more salt, more pepper. I added minced onions in at that point. Mike Wheeler, welcome in. Life with Roxana, welcome in as well. Guys, pause in the middle of my recipe story. If you are not subscribed to Life with Roxana, make sure to go over and subscribe to her. I am her co-host for a Saturday night Let's Talk Disney stream on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we have so much fun. We have a lot of laughs. And if you have not caught that stream yet, you don't want to miss it because you never know what antics I will come up with. So back to my soup story. or recipe, I guess. So after I add the beef stock and I kind of add some more seasoning and I kind of just let it alone for a while. And then, so this was all done this morning. Like I had the soup going in the pot on low simmer by the time Sam was home for lunch at 11 o'clock. So about noon to 12:30. It would have been about 12:30. I took about a quarter of a cup ish of Worcestershire sauce. Pretty much, I had a bottle of Worcestershire sauce that had maybe about much in the bottle. I just took off the lid and dumped it in, and then I added low sodium soy sauce, a little bit more pepper, and I stirred it all up, and I just kind of let it continue on simmer until Sam got off work at 3:30. Just continued to kind of just stir it around, make sure everything was staying mixed together. And so about 3, I popped cornbread in the oven, and we had soup and cornbread for dinner because I was looking at the weather this morning, and it was supposed to be in the mid 60s. The current temperature in Kansas is 77. Not really conducive to soup, but God bless Sam walked in and goes, "I'm cold, I want soup," which I knew he couldn't have been. So, God bless Sam for going along with my crazy antics. But the soup, it turned out so good. Sometimes, when you put in soy salt and Worcestershire and you add, and I have a sea salt grinder. You almost wonder if you've over salted something. But this, and I will straight up admit, there's times where I like, ooh, I can taste a little bit too much salt in that. But this turned out just absolutely perfect, and there's definitely enough for dinner tomorrow when the temperature is supposed to be in the 80s. Tomorrow, Sam's probably gonna have some soup for lunch, maybe for dinner. My dad came over this morning, and he brought me this bag of potatoes, and it was maybe about the height of a quart bag, and it said fingerling potatoes. And he said that he had went to the grocery store this morning and they were on sale for 99 cents for the bag, because some of them have started to grow eyes on them. And if you don't know what that means the potatoes have kind of started to sprout a little bit. And some of them were a little soft. So the grocery store had them on sale. So he got them one, he got us one, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with potatoes that are going soft, that some of them are already sprouting eyes? So I started going through the deep freeze. The freezer part of my refrigerator. And Sam and I had purchased over the 4th of July on clearance, because we always check out at Dillon's, which is a Kroger affiliate, the Woohoos. They're clearance. And so there were these massive steaks on clearance. And I'm like, Sam, we can cut these up and definitely get several good use out of them. So Sam sliced them up, and they're still like this yay long and yay thick. So as I was going through the freezer, I came across those. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that we had these. So I grabbed out one, and so I'm gonna do that up as a roast with Worcestershire and soy sauce. Those are kind of main staples in my family. Um, so I'm going to do that up with carrots and potatoes and Worcestershire and soy sauce and salt and pepper, and I'm going to let that slow cook in the oven for dinner. So I'm able to use up those potatoes before they definitely go bad. So I was very excited. I was like, ooh, I know what I'm going to do with these. But it's been such a wonderful day. And I mean, it's been warmer than I expected, but it's been overcast as well. It's just been overcast but warm. It wasn't horribly cool, it wasn't horribly hot, except in the kitchen where I was cooking. But it was just such a great day. I've been working on a video. I filmed I filmed a video. I've been reading a book for a video, and that video will be coming up soon. Um and just altogether, just it's been very peaceful at home, and I hope yours, it's not that it's like chaotic, but sometimes it seems like I'm always going somewhere, or we're always doing something, and it seems like I feel like I never get anything done. But today was just like, oh, it I I wanted to bake, so I made some cornbread, and it was just one of those days where everything that I did just really gave me peace and like serenity. It was just great. Maybe it was the Twix bar I ate. But it's been a really, really good day. In the chat, I hope you guys have been having a really good day. I know that a lot of people are going back to work, which is why I have moved my live stream, my Tuesdays. Wow, now I'm already on tomorrow. Maybe I'm ready for red velvet cake. Tomorrow I'm making the roast with red velvet cake. Um, and that totally just made my brain go whoop. So with everyone going back to work, I have decided to move my live streams back to the evening. If you've been around since I first started live streaming, and in October I'll have been doing some sort of live streaming for a year, which has been crazy. My 1 year YouTube anniversary was back in July, so I've been doing this for a little over a month and over a year and a couple months now, which seems crazy. Um, I used to live stream on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock. Um, but when everything kind of changed, I moved my live streams to the morning. And so now that everyone's kind of going back to work, I'm going to be starting back to work soon. If you didn't know, I am a substitute paraprofessional, substitute teacher's aide for a local school district. And so by being a substitute, I really don't know what days I will and won't work. So I have decided to move my live streams to the evenings, and that's just so that it works out for everyone. And hopefully, I'll see a little bit more everybody in the chat. I know I was seeing some people, but I know a lot of people were at work. So that is kind of what has been going on. Oh, and here is, if you watched my live stream earlier, you will know that my order from Universal does not come in correctly. And so I contacted the merchandise line, and she asked me what the lanyards were, and I'm like, they were Beetlejuice. And she's like, that is not what you were supposed to get. And I'm like, no, it was supposed to be the 30 years, 30 fears. And so she's like, well, I need you to take a picture of them, and I need you to take a picture of the receipt and email us. And it could be 24 to 48 hours before they contact you. I said, okay. So I sent that off. And so hopefully by Thursday's live stream, you will know the finishing of that. And of course, when they officially come in, I will do a stream with those. One of the things that I have been doing every day in preparation for going back to school, because we all know that schools are kind of a germy place. I have started, and this is something that I did when I have done since I've been subbing. I take these vitamin C drops, and these are just ones from Dollar Tree, so they were $1. And it says the serving size is 2 of these, and so I do two of them a couple times a day, just to make sure that my vitamin C is boosted by the time I go back to the school. And so this is about the time that I normally do my vitamin C drops. They may help, they may not, I don't know, but you know what? At least I am trying to help keep myself well during all of this craziness. Timothy Rainwaters, welcome in. Glad that you are here. The wind. The wind has been nuts today. The wind and the wind has affected the pollen count, and my allergies have just been kind of really, like, I felt the the congestion all through here, like through my forehead, temple to temple, and like right under your like right under here where your sinuses are. It feels just puffy. And so this morning when Sam was off to work, I took a couple Benadryl. And I buy Benadryl at Costco because regular Benadryl, and these are probably just Benadryl in bulk for Costco. The Kirkland brand, which is Costco brand, their Benadryl, two of them will knock me back out. And so I took two Benadryl. I made sure to eat something. What I have found is that if I take something first thing in the morning, whether it's vitamins, whether it's my inhaler, whether it's some sort of like allergy medication. Welcome in, Taylor Made Magic. Glad you're here. If I don't eat something with it or have something in my stomach, it makes me physically sick. So I grabbed a cheese stick out of the refrigerator and ate it, took the Benadryl, and I laid back down and I was back asleep. So all of a sudden, Peaches is jumping on me, like, meow, meow. Like, I was like, what is going on? And all of a sudden, I heard a, and I was like, well, what was that? I didn't hear it, and Peach is just staring at me, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. It's probably like a branch hitting the window, because I could kind of look outside without my glasses, which I'm very blind without, but I could kind of see that the leaves were blowing. I had no sooner laid back down when I was like, okay. So I grabbed my glasses and put them on, and I came out of the bedroom and I walked through the house, which took all of like 5 seconds. I looked out the back porch. Like, our house is very old. It's got the main original house, and then later on, it has an addition on it. It's got a back porch area it's supposed to be a third bedroom, but it can't be used as a bedroom. So that's where we have like our back storage area. And so I was like, well, maybe the back screen door is getting blown. Maybe the latch isn't latched, because Sam had went back there um yesterday. I kind of watched it, it wasn't blowing. So I went back in and laid back down. No sooner did I lay back down than I was like, okay, what the heck is going on here? So I went back and I walked back through the house, and I happened to go look out the front door. And if you see over my shoulder right here, there's this little sign, and it says autumn, falling leaves, pumpkin pie, happy fall, hot apple cider, happy fall. And it is very, very thin. It's maybe that thick. And it is from Dollar Tree. It has no weight to it at all. But I got two. I got that one that's fall themed, and I have one that's hanging on our front door that is Halloween themed. It says like jack-o'-lanterns, black cats, candy, stuff about Halloween. And the wind, because we took out the glass because we had the glass out because we cleaned it, and we just hadn't got it back in the screen door. The wind was coming through that opening and with that sign, because there's nothing to it. It's this bag of vitamin C drops probably has more weight to it than that sign. And the wind has just been kind of banging on it, but it was scaring Peaches to death. And I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. It's just the wind. And she was looking at me like, well, whatever it is, mommy, you need to make it stop because I don't like it. It was just one of those. Melanie, hello, welcome in. Glad that you're here. Oh, I like this. Coupons.com has sent me $1.50 to PayPal. If you guys didn't know, I love to coupon. And couponing right now looks a lot different than it did pre-crazy, and even different than when Sam got out of the military 10 years ago, off of active duty 10 years ago. He's retired because he was in the National Guard afterwards. But the National Guard in Kansas isn't that great. um, oh, I am so glad that you made it too, Melanie. I'm glad that you are here. Um, and I totally just lost what I was going. Oh, coupons. So I'm in several different Facebook groups about, money saving this, deal saving that. So right before the 4th of July, somebody goes, "Hey, did you see the new promotion on coupons.com app?" And somebody goes, "No, what is it?" And it was buy a package of hot dog buns and coupons.com would give you a $2 rebate. Up to $2. It said up to $2, which it essentially would make it free. And so when we were doing our grocery shopping, we needed hot dog buns anyway. So I threw them in the cart, checked out, scanned my receipt, followed all the instructions. And about a week later, I get an email. $2 has been deposited in my PayPal account. And I'm like, what is this from? So I looked at it, and it was from coupons.com. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So I'm like, well, maybe that was just a glitch because it was supposed to just make it free. It wasn't supposed to we bought the 88-cent hot dog buns from Walmart. So it's not like we were trying to game the system by getting an extra dollar, whatever that would be. So about a week later, someone posts, "Hey, guess what? There's another coupons.com offer, and this time it's for corn." Well, we were going to go buy groceries anyway, so we bought corn. And so we bought $2 worth. I submitted the receipt, got my $2. There hadn't been one since. I'm like, well, I bet that, too many people were gaming the system. They bought one ear when they figured out from the hot dog buns that they only had to buy the cheap one and they're going to get the full value. They're just going to do it that way. So they bought one ear of corn and submitted it for $2. So yes, it would have been on Friday because Friday we went grocery shopping. On Wednesday, somebody posted, "Hey, guess what? There's another free after rebate on the coupons.com app, and it's for bananas." And I'm like, bananas? Okay, I eat bananas. I'll buy the bananas. So Sam and I got 2 big bunches of bananas from Walmart. And I wasn't paying attention to what the scale said. Sam was scanning things and I was standing with the cart, probably talking with somebody on Facebook. And we get home and I get ready to submit the receipt. And it was the rebate was for $1.50 back. And I spent $1.30 on bananas. And I got an additional 20 cents back, and it makes me feel bad. I was hoping that they had the glitch fixed, and they don't. So, if you are looking for a great way to save money, download the coupons.com app. Sorry, I'm getting text message, so I'm trying to answer that real quick. But then I've got to figure out what's going on tomorrow. Because tomorrow, I don't have any more cleaning to do. It seems like all I kind of been doing is cleaning. And I've kind of cleaned myself out, which is good. I mean, it's good that it's done, but I don't know what to do with myself. I need to finish my book that I'm reading, and it's called Broadcasts for Murder, and it is for an upcoming video that I'm very excited. Should be out um, sometime before my birthday. I'm not sure what day it'll go up, but I am so excited that I was okay. I'll go ahead and tell you guys that are in the chat. Um, I love to read cozy mysteries, and cozy mysteries are um they're like murder mysteries, but they're themed. Like maybe they're cooking themed, maybe there's the person that's like a witch, maybe it's someone who is um sorry, the thing started banging again and made me lose my thought. There's just different themes to cozy mysteries. And I'm in several Facebook groups for that. And so one of the authors posted that she had some ARCs to give away in exchange for reviews. And an ARC stands for Advanced Reader's Copy. So the publisher sends the author X amount of books to give away for free to post reviews on, say, Amazon or Book Good Book or other book review websites. And there was a little form to fill out, and it would submit to her, and she would pick however many she had advanced reader copies for. And so I submitted one and said, well, I would do a video for my YouTube channel. I'm never thinking that I would probably get chosen, and I did. So not last week, but the week prior, when I was having my garage sale, I got the book in. And it's been just so much has been going on that I really haven't had time to sit down and just focus and read and take good notes on it. So tomorrow, that might be what I end up doing. I think I'll curl up on the sofa, put something in on like some sort of movie that I've watched 1,000 times and I could quote from scratch, and sit down and read and and have no other distractions. That I think is going to be what tomorrow's day is going to look like, because I need to get it done. And I need to just be able to focus on that. I feel like I'm saying quite a lot tonight. I need to be better at coming up with what I'm going to talk about. Maybe it's just because it's Monday. It's Monday. Oh, something to remember to let you know is that at 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern, I will be on The Adventures of Gonzo. It is Monday night, so it's karaoke night, and it is Johnny Cash night. So I'm going to be singing Johnny Cash. So that is exciting. I appreciate Gonzo having me on tonight. Last week was Elvis night, so I'm looking for. It's week 2 for the Sun Records studio. So go Sun Records. When Sam and I live about 6-ish hours from Branson, so a lot of our weekend trips have been, we could leave around noon on Friday, get there in good timing on Friday, have all day Saturday and about half a Sunday to do something. Sometimes Monday if we would go over a holiday weekend, and we go see shows. We love to eat at Shorty Smalls, which is a barbecue restaurant on the Strip. And the first time we went was over Memorial Day of 2017. And Sam came in from work and he goes, I need to use your computer. And I'm like, why? He goes, I just do. Is it connected to the printer? And I'm like, yeah. So he's like, I need you to go out of the room. Okay, what are you doing, dude? You need my computer. You want to know if it's hooked up to the printer and you're not telling me why? He's like, I'm planning as a trip. This is like maybe a couple weeks ahead of Memorial Day. He's like, I'm planning a trip for Memorial Day and it's going to be a surprise. I don't do surprises at all. Typically, I know what all of my Christmas gifts are before I open them, even from my parents, normally, because typically I buy them. My mom works pretty much full time, 2 jobs, and what am I going to do? Um, so on Black Friday, you know, Thanksgiving, the day Wednesday before Thanksgiving and Black Friday, there's all the online sales. So I'm typically going, Mom, Sam would like this, or Mom, I'd really like this, or Hey Mom, look, here's a new attachment for Dad's KitchenAid mixer. Hey Mom, my niece would really like this. Mom, brother would like that, And so she just has me do a lot of her shopping online. So I typically know what I'm getting, other than from Dad. Dad normally will keep it a secret. But I don't do surprises. And so I bugged him about it for 2 weeks. And finally, and it was the next Saturday. So it was a Saturday in between. So he told me kind of one week. There was a full another weekend, and then it was Memorial Day weekend. So it was in the middle. And Sam got up super early because he was supposedly had a class for the military, and he gets up early, drives up to Salina, which is an hour drive, and they tell him, you're not, him and another guy from his unit got there about the same time and went to go check in, and they go, you're not supposed to be here. And they're like, what? And like, you're not on the list. So they're trying to get in touch with the sergeant in charge of the unit, who told them, you aren't coming to drill this weekend, you're going to this other class. So they finally get a hold of him and they're like, oh, oops, we must have put you down for the next class. And so long story short on that, they're like, well, you're going to get paid for the weekend, you don't have to go anywhere. Okay, well, fine. So Sam came home, he's like, you want to go do something? Because we weren't expected to really do anything. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you want to go check out scrapbook stuff? And I'm like, oh my, I'm always down for that. Why? And he's like, well, we're going to Branson next weekend. We're going to Branson? Because the only time I'd been to Branson up to that point was on a vacation with my parents years ago. And my dad didn't really want to do shows. Pretty much I swam in hotel pools, and Mom and I played miniature golf. So Sam was like, we're going to be staying at Westgate Branson Woods, and at one of their hotel rooms. I did it through a timeshare pack. It was one of those, you get all the tickets and you have to listen to a timeshare presentation, but hey, we got really, really cheap tickets. Oh, okay. So we packed and we left on a Thursday night. Was military night at what used to be the Wichita Wingnuts. I almost said Wichita Wranglers. Wichita, Kansas, which is about an hour from me, used to have a professional baseball team, and now I think it's like a farm team for one of the professional teams, which I think is what it was before. I don't know, but it used to be called the Wichita Wranglers, and then it kind of fizzled out or moved, and then they were back, and they were called the Wichita Wingnuts, and they disbanded, and now it's something else. They built a whole brand new stadium, and they have a stupid name, and I can't remember what it is. But the Wingnuts were having military night. So us and a couple other families from his unit went down and we went to the baseball game. Well, we got home at like 11 o'clock at night, and Sam's like, we're leaving here at like 2 a.m. So literally, we got maybe a couple hours of sleep, got up super early, and drove into Branson. And we saw like the $1 Million Quartet, which is the Sun Records story, which is where I was getting with this long drawn out story. The $1 Million Quartet was a impromptu jam session, and it was Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Jerry Lewis. Oh man, and I just blanked. I've got to Google it. Carl Perkins. I knew it as soon as I saw it, I'd know it. So it was Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee Lewis. And it was actually the night that Johnny Cash went in to tell the owner of Sun Records that he was not going to be re-signing a contract. And then shortly after, that's when the owner, and then now I have to look that up because I can't remember. Sam Phillips. Sam Phillips, Sun Records was going under, and he sold Elvis Presley to RCA Records. And so this happened after this went up, but it was kind of a jam session, and it wasn't there. They say that there's recordings of it, but like there aren't. And so this is the show is like the story of that night, and that's when Jerry Lewis was just Jerry gracious. There's too many people with about the same name from the same era. Jerry Lewis sang Great Balls of Fire. Sam is commenting from the other room where he's supposed to be doing his homework. There is two recording for okay, that's what I thought. But like you don't find it very often. December 1956, Carl Perkins. Wow, you're bad at names. That's my husband, ladies and gentlemen. It's called a break. So the gist of it is, so last week was Elvis, this week is Johnny Cash, maybe next week will be Carl Perkins. But here's a fun fact. Carl Perkins actually did Blue Suede Shoes before Elvis did, and Elvis actually covered it. It wasn't his song. And everyone credits him with like making Blue Suede Shoes so popular, but he was actually doing a cover of a Carl Perkins song. And Carl Perkins really never gets the credit that he deserves for that song. So if you are interested, I say go search YouTube for Carl Perkins singing Blue Suede Shoes. But also, if you're going to Branson, go to the Welk Resort. It's down by the lake. It's beautiful, but that is where they have the show, The $1 Million Quartet. I will let you know in advance, there are no photos, there's no recording, nothing. You cannot take pictures in the auditorium. So just be aware of that. But afterwards, you can have your picture taken with the cast, which is always a lot of fun. I have a lot of those pictures, and maybe someday I will show them to you. Yes, when we were picking up our tickets, they're like, "Oh, do you need tickets for dinner?" And Sam and I kind of looked at each other, and we were like, "Well, what's for dinner?" And they're like, "Well, it's a prefix meal. It was an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert with a drink." And the appetizer, I don't remember what the appetizer was, but the dinner, it feels like a senior living dining area. That is absolutely correct. But the food was really good. We had barbecue with fried okra and corn and mashed potatoes for dinner. But yeah, it does smell and feel like a senior assisted living center. So just do be aware of that. And maybe sometime Sam and I will do a video together about our experiences in Branson, if that's something that you guys would like to watch. Um, but I do recommend you go see it. It is a really good show, and the performers do a really good job. And it is one of the lesser known shows in Branson simply because it is not right there on the strip. Some other good ones to see are number one hits of the 60s and 50s, and the Haygoods, which are both at the Clay Cooper Theater, which is right across the street from the Titanic Museum. So you can go to a show at 2, go check out the Titanic Museum, and then go back to an evening show at 7 because typically it's someone else. There's other shows at the Clay Cooper Theater, the Clay Cooper Country Express. Sam and I have seen that one, but it's not something that we were really impressed by. It just wasn't really up our alley, but it definitely could be up someone else's because I know that it's pretty much sold out a lot of the time, as is the Haygoods and Hits of the 60s. Um, since you are hanging out in the chat, dear, is there any other of the shows that you think that people should go see? It's now called Dolly Parton Stampede, but my little boot cup that I used to have said Dixie Stampede. It is a really fun dinner show where there are lots of trick writing and things, and something to note. And this is something that we didn't know on our first trip, but that I knew for our return. Everything is meant to be eaten like as finger food, even the chicken. I am a knife and fork person, even for things that should be eaten with your fingers. And so something that I read afterwards was, oh, well, you can ask for silverware and they will bring you plasticware that's wrapped. Um, and so the second time that we ate there, I said, by the way, I would definitely take a set of silverware. And a lady 2 seats down from us, because you're all on benched seating, which I wonder how they're doing that currently, because you are crammed against each other. Um, but she's like, oh, I didn't know that we could get silverware. I would take silverware for myself and my daughter. And so the guy was bringing everybody in the area plasticware, and they're like, how did you know that you could get silverware? And I'm like, because um, I've learned about it after being here before. Sam says California Dreamin'. Oh, yes, what is the name of that theater? I'm Googling that. It is at. There's so many different theaters that you just can't keep them all straight. So I'm having to Google search that one real quick. Jersey Boys was horribly disappointing. It is on the strip. You can't miss that theater. It looks like a castle. You would never think that Jersey Boys was there, but that's where the Jersey Boys show is. It was so bad we left. There's 4 intermissions, or there was when we were there in 2018. We left after intermission number 1, which was 10 minutes into the show. Okay. I am reading. All right, where is it? I'm trying to look. Uh, Random Things by Lena. Oh, Hamner's Variety Theater is where that is located. And it's actually what California Dreamin', it's a lot of Beach Boys 50s era songs, and it's 2 guys and 2 girls, really small cast, but they do such a good job. It's another one of those shows that's not on the strip. It's kind of up a and I say block loosely. Like there's the strip, and then you can go up, and then there's like another road, like the next road up. It's on that one, and it's kind of out of the way. Hi, baby. Peaches is down here by my feet. But it's out of the way, but it's such a good show. And they are they have like a magician show, and they have the Magnificent Seven, And what I like about that particular theater is that, and I'd have to look up the theater itself to get exact ages, but children are free, which can, free anything is great. So especially if you have, they have an ABBA tribute there. And so this comment, um, Sam and I were in the front row. We always request the front row, whatever show we're at. If you don't like being called on, do not sit in the front row. Do not sit on an aisle. And this is why. Because typically, either during the show, during a pre show, something, they're going around and they're trying to get you ready for the show. And so they're going to ask you questions. Like Hits of the 60s does a trivia before the show starts. And I happened to win that one. And even though I got it wrong, I won. And um like a couple days later, the line of the song is two girls for every boy. And I don't remember what Sam exactly said, but we were all dying. And they're like, we'll give it to you anyway. But Sam to this day is like, I can't forget that line because it's ingrained into my head now. Oh, good time. So I do definitely suggest, and Branson is open right now. I know that they are. Oh yeah, he said two girls for everyone. It was everyone thought that was fun. The cast couldn't breathe. They thought it was great. Um, but they are social distancing in the theaters, which means they are not selling as many tickets. So if you are looking for something to do for Labor Day coming up, if you're looking for something like for just a weekend trip and you are close to Branson, definitely something that you should consider doing. Go support them. Everyone who does the show, even the ones that we didn't care for, work really hard on their choreography, on their singing, on making sure that you, as the participant, as the viewer, are there to have a good time. What 4 equals 4 and 9 minus 3? I'm not good in math, so throwing a math question in is really going to throw me off. Um, but I definitely, if you are looking for something to do, even if you want to make it a day trip and you can drive a couple hours, um, you can definitely call the theaters and say, hey, do you have any tickets available? And they will tell you what they have for the shows for that day. Um, so we've got about 10 minutes left of tonight's live stream. Like I said, at 8:30, so literally in like an hour and a half, I will be on Adventures with Gonzo for karaoke night, Johnny Cash night. So we will see how that all goes. 4 equals 4, 9, 3. You are in the front row. So don't miss that because that should be interesting. Candy Mom has been bugging me for a while to be on there, so I finally acquiesced to her request, and we'll do that. So now that it's done, I won't have to hear about it anymore. And then Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central, we will be doing this all over again, and I will definitely come up with a topic so that I'm not saying every 35 seconds. I'm sure someone has a checklist going. She said, she said, she said, I will tell you, all I hear in my head is my 11th grade English teacher slash drama teacher slash forensics coach. And all I heard was, how many times are you going to say in the course of an hour? And so I'm sitting here going, oh, my teacher's going to kill me. Even though I've been graduated for 15 years come next May. Oh, thank you, Roxana. Don't miss me on Gonzo's live stream and Life with Roxana. Thank you so much for dropping that link in the chat. Appreciate that. Okay. So yes, in an hour and a half I will be on there. So after this, I'm going to be guzzling some water so that I don't start coughing and choking in the middle of that stream. And I have to say thank you to Cargo. She mailed me these the beginning of the year, and I think this is the first time I've worn them on stream. They are. I don't. She didn't make these. She just found them and sent them to me. But they are just so shiny and sparkly. Lots of sequins. And you would think these were little jewels, but they aren't. They're actually just sequins, like made to look like jewels. So these are from Miss Cargo. Oh, 52 bazillion. I totally don't understand. Um, but guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Like I said, don't Roxana, thank you so much for dropping the link. Don't miss me on karaoke night on Gonzo's live stream, and then Thursday again at 6 p.m. So, got it. I will not be saying this many on Thursday. All right.